This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 8th day of December, in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here's what we're tracking tonight. A solemn atmosphere enveloped the GDF Helicopter Airport at Ogle this afternoon as the survivors of the GDF Helicopter Crash and the bodies of the servicemen who died in that tragedy were brought out from the crash site for the long goodbye. President Irfan Ali and Prime Minister Mark Phillips led a team of well-wishers for the survivors and the mourners for those who passed, that included family members. The two survivors, Lieutenant Andy Crawford and Corporal Dwayne Jackson, were the first two to arrive at the airport just after 4 p.m. Some family members held on to each other as the two survivors were removed from the aircraft by medical teams. The president and his team spoke briefly with the survivors, offering a speedy recovery before they were taken to the hospital. The two spent 2 nights in the rugged jungle terrain after surviving that helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 5 of their colleagues. The crash took place on Wednesday morning, and the crash site was spotted 1 day later on Thursday, and the two survivors signaled to the search teams. Special Forces ranks and the medical team were rappelled down into the crash area. Once there, they offered emergency assistance to the survivors while confirming the deaths of the 5 others. Bad weather in the area aborted the attempts yesterday to extract the survivors and the bodies of the 5 who died. The medical teams and the Special Forces remained with the survivors and those bodies last evening in the jungle. This morning, the survivors were the first to be extracted, followed by the 5 service members who died. At the airport this afternoon, the chaplain of the Guyana Defense Force said he offered words of comfort and a prayer to the survivors and their families, and the families of the fallen.
The nation mourns with the country. We mourn with the families and the community of the world that we've lost these valiant and highly distinguished service members. Certainly, yes. It's very difficult.
You had a chance to go out there and see the two survivors and meet with them. What word did you impart with them as a chaplain of this force?
Actually, I was observing and just supporting the family members. We offered a prayer for them, and we have some other pastors who did the same. And I believe that this is the most important part at this juncture, to give them support at this time. I spoke with one of the survivors, and this is something that we are still trying to wrap our minds around.
And it was just after 5:30 this evening, as the sun went down over the Ogle Airport, that a military skyvan carrying the bodies of the 5 fallen servicemen arrived. Military pallbearers and the military party were on hand. The caskets were first draped with a golden arrowhead before being removed one by one from the skyvan. The screams of a grief-stricken relative broke the silence of the moment, and others cried quietly. Tears flowed as the caskets were removed, and the names of each of the fallen was announced. The 5 fallen servicemen, retired Brigadier Gary Beaton, Colonel Michael Shahood, Lieutenant Colonel Sean Welcome, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Charles, and Staff Sergeant Jason Connor. The flag-draped caskets were slowly placed into 5 hearses and then slowly driven to the Memorial Gardens funeral home. A grief-stricken President Air Finale spoke with the family members and greeted the search and rescue teams before he eventually departed. The Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Michael Khan, said a full investigation will be conducted into the tragic crash. A cause is still to be determined. Good evening, sir. Is there anything you can tell us on the investigations so far?
Not as yet, but I'm sure we're going to pronounce on that soon. And it has to do with also the involvement of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority. So we'll have some word on that soon. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Commented whether there was pilot error. Have you heard that?
There's an investigation to be conducted. I don't know. We don't know once that's completed.
The 7 servicemen were on a mission to the bordering locations to give assurances of those military personnel serving at those locations in wake of the ongoing threats against Guyana by Venezuela. They were on their way from Arau to Etteringbang when tragedy struck, claiming the lives of 5 of the servicemen. More news coming up in a moment.
'Twas the start of GTT Christmas and all through the land. Not a smartphone was silent, all buzzing in hand. The stockings were hung by the modem with care, in hopes that GTT prizes would soon be here. They say top up a grand or activate a data plan, and just find the letters to GTT Xmas in the land. Plus, pay your bills on time, don't be a Grinch, and you could be a winner of the GTT Mega Million.
Oh my lord! I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
It's your time to win big! The Massey Store's Christmas jackpot promotion is back and bigger than before. Spend $5,000 at any Massey stores to be the lucky winner of a brand new MGZS and fantastic weekly store prizes from now until January 31st, 2024. What are you waiting for? Head to your nearest Massey stores to shop now. See our Facebook and Instagram pages for more details. Massey Stores, our family serving your family.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Tributes continue to pour in for those 5 service members who lost their lives in that tragic accident at Arau. Prime Minister Mark Phillips, who is a retired brigadier and Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, in extending his condolences to the family and friends of those fallen soldiers, said, "As a nation, our hearts are heavy with grief and remain heavy upon learning about the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of those 5 brave soldiers. To the 2 who survived, he extended his wishes for their swift and complete recovery." The Prime Minister said in the wake of the devastating news, he also extends condolences to the Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Omar Khan, and the entire Guyana Defense Force. He said as the nation mourns the tragic loss, the nation stands in solidarity with the Guyana Defense Force, sharing in the pain of the grief of the GDF. He said, "May the Guyana Defense Force find strength, unity, and solace in the memories of the heroes." In extending his condolences, former President, retired Brigadier of the Guyana Defense Force, David Granger, said he's particularly saddened at the deaths of the members of the GDF, who had dedicated their lifetime service to the safety of the citizens, the security of the country, and the preservation of the national sovereignty, and those who died in the aircraft accident while in that military mission. He also extended best wishes for a complete and rapid recovery of the two survivors, Lieutenant Andy O'Crawford and Corporal Dwayne Jackson. Retired Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force Rear Admiral Dr. Gary Best, in his message of condolences, said to the family that he would want them to know that they should take comfort in knowing that their loved ones served because they believed in the country and died in service to the country and will never be forgotten by this country. He said this is the highest level of service one can give to one's country, adding that as Guyanese, we must never forget the price that was paid to protect the country's national patrimony and sovereignty. He said the tragedy, though immeasurably painful to the mothers, fathers, wives, children, and relatives of the fallen heroes, has also hurt the entire nation. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Shalimar Ali Hack, in extended condolences, noted that on a personal note, the office of the DPP would like to pay special homage to Colonel Michael Shahood, who after obtaining his legal education certificate in 2014 was seconded to the DPP's chambers. He was then Major Michael Shahood. She said at DPP's office they fondly remember him as a dedicated state counsel who exercised common courtesies, was always jocular and of a kindred spirit, with a mischievous smile and glint in his eyes. She offered condolences to the families of all those who died in the tragic accident. The government of Guyana today announced a 6.5% retroactive salary increase for all public servants, all teachers, and members of the disciplined services, and persons employed at semi-autonomous government agencies. Additionally, government pensioners will receive a 6.5% increase in their pension payments. The announcement was made this afternoon by Minister responsible for Finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, who announced that over 54,000 public servants will benefit from the increase.
We will be paying in 2023 an across-the-board salary increase of 6.5% to all public servants, teachers, members of the disciplined services, constitutional office holders, as well as government pensioners. This increase will be granted retroactively to the 1st of January 2023.
The increase granted by the government is the lowest since it took office in 2020. In 2021, the government granted a 7% increase to public servants, and last year, public servants got an 8% increase. The finance minister did not provide a rationale for the 6.5% increase, but said an additional $7 billion in disposable income has now been placed in the hands of public servants. He also announced that members of the disciplined services will receive a tax-free 1-month bonus, in addition to the retroactive increase. Civilian members of the GDF will also receive the 1-month tax-free bonus for the first time, he said.
Our government also continues to recognize, even more so this time, the hard work that government employees do every day in delivering services to the people of Guyana. And in particular, we recognize the continued dedication of our men and women in uniform. As such, I also wish to announce that we will pay a 1-month tax-free bonus to all members of the disciplined services, which will benefit 12,000 members of the uniformed services and will place an additional $1.5 billion of disposable income in their hands.
Dr. Singh said work has already started to ensure that all public servants are paid on the 15th of December. He added that the government has recognized the hard work that public servants continue to deliver to the people and wanted to reward them. President Ali recently announced a one-off $25,000 cost of living bonus for all public servants.
Shop at John Lewis Styles in December and win 4 Honda Navi motorcycles. Beat the traffic with this sporty, hip and fun bike to ride. fully automatic with no gears. Just twist the throttle and go. Enter to win with every $5,000 you spend on men's and women's clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage, and now our home goods department. So visit us on Waterloo Street for a chance to win 4 Honda Navi motorcycles. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo. From its pristine rivers to its abundant resources, it's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
The Organization of American States has expressed its worry and concern over the aggressive stance of the Maduro regime of Venezuela towards Guyana, which has escalated to a point of significant concern for regional security and constitutes a matter that threatens the stability and territorial sovereignty within the hemisphere. In a statement, the OAS said it is imperative to recall that the boundary established in 1899 by an international arbitration committee is in force and legally binding on all parties under international law. The OAS said the award is currently reinforced by proceedings and decisions at the International Court of Justice, and those proceedings were mandated by the UN Secretary General in accordance with the terms of a 1966 agreement signed in Geneva by representatives of Venezuela and Guyana. The OAS also said the Maduro regime is continuing to take and promote unlawful actions against Guyana, such as conducting an illegal and illegitimate referendum on December 3rd, by which it seeks to annex the Essequibo region. The action, the OAS noted, was taken not only in flagrant disregard for international law and decisions of the ICJ, but also with an undemocratic use of a democratic process. The Venezuelan regime had already pursued other aggressive actions before the referendum, including several incidents and acts of intimidation, the OAS noted, adding that the actions have escalated and now the violations of the recent decisions of the International Court of Justice are flagrant. The OAS said the recent actions taken by Venezuela not only jeopardize the development and stability of Guyana, but also pose a broader risk to the security of Latin America and the Caribbean. The General Secretariat of the OAS has reaffirmed and endorses the request for a meeting of the OAS Permanent Council as soon as possible on the issue. The meeting, the OAS said, will aim to discuss possible measures to mitigate the crisis and explore solutions that respect international law and regional stability. Children in the Pomeroon region are experiencing significant challenges attending school due to a lack of transportation, with many having to wait hours each day before they could depart for home. This is according to the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, who led a team into the Pomeroon Superdam district last weekend. He said at one village in the Pomeroon River, residents complained bitterly about the lack of transportation to not only take the children to school, but for them to return home.
Several parents expressed their disgust at the situation where the school children must wait for several hours after the dismissal of school to get home due to the lack of a school boat, and some children are left stranded until 5:30 p.m. before getting transportation. Parents demand that the secondary school children be given a hot meal because they are forced to be away from home, sometimes for more than 12 hours.
Mr. Norton said to compound the situation, the nursery and secondary schools are without electricity due to a section of the power system being damaged. He said in fact the entire village is without electricity. The opposition leaders said in the Lower Pomeroon River, where they met with residents of Hackney and Aberdeen, the complaints were not any different.
The residents stressed that in the area there is need for a school boat to transport the children, since the current one is in a terrible condition, leaking from both the roof and the bottom. This has forced the parents to pay a total cost of $2,000 per day to send one child to school. Since many cannot afford it, the children have to stay at home.
Aside from the transportation challenges facing the residents, Norton said the residents of the various communities reported that they were being discriminated against by officials of the Region 2 administration and the Ministry of Agriculture, National Drainage and Irrigation Authority. It was alleged that while all the pro-government communities received solar panels and lights from the government, Hackney, Aberdeen and Marlborough received none. Farmers, he said, have also reported that their crops are being destroyed because of saltwater intrusion. And today the Agriculture Ministry has not visited the community or offered any compensation. In a show of solidarity with the people of Guyana, the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, hosted its 2023 Regional Awards ceremony here in Georgetown to honor the region's top students who excelled at this year's Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination. Chairman of CXC, Sir Hilary Beckles, in his address at the awards ceremony held in the National Cultural Center last evening, said as Guyana faces one of its greatest tests, CXC will not waver its support for the sovereign nation.
And we at the CXC are here in demonstration of our solidarity with the people of this proud nation. This nation can count on us to stand side by side with it, as you have been proud to stand with CXC from its very beginning.
And turning his attention to this year's awardees, Sir Hilary said for 50 years, CXC has been in service to the people of the region. And though it is an elite institution, it is in no way an elitist institution, but rather an institution of the people.
You are not part of an economic or social elite. You are drawn from all sections and sectors of society. What we are celebrating through you is your intellectual achievements. We celebrate your consciousness. We celebrate your commitment to excellence, your determination to make yourselves and your families and your nation and your region proud by your dedication to academic excellence.
While urging the students to be great citizens, Sir Hilary told them it was important for them to pay attention to issues facing their countries and the region, whether it's the sovereignty of the nation or climate change or social inequalities. Guyana copped 8 of the awards for its exceptional academic achievements at both CXC and Cape, with the Anna Regina Secondary School's Alex Montaz and Queen's College Narish Jagnanan being adjudged the overall top students for CXC and Cape. Students from Trinidad and Tobago, St. Martin and Jamaica were also among the region's top performers. Prime Minister Mark Phillips said the success of the awardees serves as a reminder of the immense potential within the Caribbean. He said the region has consistently invested in harnessing its human resources by producing exceptional scholars, and the awardees have all exemplified that tradition.
Let us take pride in our top performers and express our gratitude in tangible ways to those who push their limits. To sustain our success, we must exercise prudent stewardship of our educational institutions, nurturing the talents and abilities of our people as a united region. One such institution which we must zealously safeguard is the Caribbean Examinations Council.
And the Minister of Education here in Guyana, Priya Manik Chand, while applauding the students for their exceptional performance at this year's examinations, acknowledged their hard work and dedication to their education.
Today we acknowledge the sacrifices made, the challenges overcome, and the unwavering commitment to learning that these exceptional students have demonstrated.
Minister Manik Chand said the region's top performers are the embodiments of inspiration for their peers. The other awardees include Sadiq Ghaffar of the ISA Islamic School here in Guyana, who received the most outstanding CXC Award in Business, Mary Wall of Jamaica Champion College, who copped the best short story for CSEC, Kayla Wright of the Jamaican Campion College, who received the most outstanding in Principles of Accounts, and Kalenda Machiavelli of Jamaica Manchester High, who received the most outstanding in Visual Arts. Meanwhile, Diana B. Pat of Trinidad and Tobago Rio Claro West Secondary School copped the most outstanding in Visual Arts. Abigail Stephens of Queen's College copped the most outstanding in Sciences Award. Matthew Dunn of Jamaica York Castle High School copped the most outstanding in History, while Darius Payne of Trinidad and Tobago copped the most outstanding Natural Sciences Award at the Cape level.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water, now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall in the region. Presidents of the 4 Mercosur nations met for their annual summit on Thursday, with black clouds hovering over the fate of a trade deal with the European Union, as well as the future of the South American Common Market itself. They had hoped to announce a free trade agreement with the EU, opening markets home to some 732 million people. The change of government in Argentina just 3 days after the summit has derailed the final agreement on issues that would need approval from the incoming president, Javier Milei, a radical leader who has said Mercosur serves no purpose. Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva, hosting the summit in Rio de Janeiro, admitted frustration with his failure to close the deal. A joint Mercosur-EU statement said negotiations continue. Brazilian diplomats said they're hopeful that Argentina under Milei will continue the trade negotiations with the EU. Former Public Services Association PSA President and Tobago House of Assembly Deputy Chief Secretary Watson Juke has been committed to stand trial for a set of criminal charges related to the alleged rape and indecent assault of a former subordinate. The current THA member was committed by Magistrate Marissa Gomez at the end of his preliminary inquiry on Tuesday. Juke was granted $250,000 bail to cover all the charges, which he reportedly accessed immediately after the hearing. He will now have to await a trial in the High Court, which can take well over 5 months considering the current backlog of cases in the criminal justice system. Juke is accused of allegedly committing acts of serious indecency against a woman, a then employee of the union, on 4 occasions between January and April 2016 at the union headquarters in Port of Spain. And finally tonight, international news. President's paramount leader Vladimir Putin was not even looking at the television camera when he announced that he would aim to stay in the Kremlin for at least another 6 years as head of the world's biggest nuclear power. After pinning the Gold Star Hero of Russia medals on the soldiers who fought in Ukraine, relatives of some of the fallen soldiers rushed up to one of the best guarded leaders in the world in the Grand Kremlin Palace. A lieutenant colonel born in the Soviet-era Ukraine who fights for Russia asked Putin to run again. In response, Putin thanked him and signaled his intention to run for the post of president. Others, including a mother of a fallen soldier decorated as a hero of Russia, told the 71-year-old president, an ex-KGB spy, that his work needed to be continued. The setting of Putin's announcement, surrounded by decorated soldiers and mothers of fallen soldiers, may be an indication of how he perceives his rule, and some Kremlin watchers said it could give hints about the future of the Ukraine war. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.